Hello, hello, hello. My name is Doug. Welcome to Fire Emblem Three Houses. I hope you're doing well, and if you aren't, I hope I can do something to help make that a little bit better. Anyways, this is Fire Emblem Three Houses. Three houses, three Let's Plays. On top of Persona 5 and Kingdom Hearts 2, I am also working on this game as well for this channel. This is a Christmas gift, and I finally figured out how to record Switch gameplay, so I figured, why not do this? I'm super excited about this game. I've kept myself relatively spoiler-free for the entirety of this game coming out, I think, earlier this year. Super excited. I love Fire Emblem. I played all the 3DS games, and as you can see, I actually played a little bit of this game already. This is going to be a relatively blind playthrough. Unfortunately, my last recording didn't turn out so good, so I had to fix it up a little bit. And we're going to be doing it now, like this. So, let's jump right in. So, I have done basically about 2.5 hours of this game already. So, there's a little this or that, and I'm basically going to be not necessarily breezing through the game, but I will be kind of maybe taking less time now that I understand where everything is and how to do it. But we got a cutscene coming up. And some of my reactions won't be as, in the moment as they were in the prior recording up until, like I said, about 2.5 hours in. But at least we'll probably cut down on time anyways. Enjoy this really amazingly animated cutscene. They do this really cool 3D animation that looks very 2D at the same time. Very excited about it. I really think that this is the first 3DS, first game of Fire Emblem to come on a home console since the 3DS era, and it looks really amazing. There's a lot of nice little touches, and it has a very unique art style. I'm very excited, and I'll gush more about this game as we go on.
Do you recall the Red Canyon? You'll die. 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 You took everything that I loved.
So yeah, this is definitely not a YouTube Copa friendly video.
He's gone now, Mother.
Oh my. What could have brought you here? wonder how you got in here. It is most rude to interrupt a moment of repose. Very rude indeed. Now come to me. I wish to have a look at you.
Time to make a character. So, basically, for folks who aren't as familiar with it, Fire Emblem is a tactical RPG game. So basically, it's like, imagine chess, but instead of moving one piece a turn, you moved all your pieces, and they all had anime personalities and they had stats. You fight enemies, you level up, and if your units are defeated, they die. So, you know, it's super fun, and there's a bunch of anime shit and stuff. It's really cool. So, starting with the 3DS game Fire Emblem Awakening, which I think came out in like 2012 or something, Fire Emblem allowed you to have a unit in the game who would function sort of as like an avatar for your player. Some games have more customization, some don't. Basically, you know, it's just kind of like, it's a self-insert thing. It's pretty cool. Some games have more customization. I think Fire Emblem Awakening actually has the most in that regard. Then there's Fates, which Fates I'm not the biggest fan of for a lot of reasons, and I'll probably talk about it later. And then there's this game. And those were like the games that, at least, that came out in America that had character customization. So, because people who play Smash Bros. Probably are more familiar with Fire Emblem than they might think, because Smash Bros. Debuted a lot of characters in Fire Emblem to the West, and it was with that popularity that they released the Fire Emblem games to the US. It's like, hey, people like Marth, let's throw a game at them. So that's kind of how it happened, and I'm going to do my best to try to explain concepts that might not make sense, but, you know, I'm horrible at explaining stuff, so.
I've seen the likes of you before. Who are you anyway?
Yeah, we're going to make a character. I'm going to be, I'm not going to waste time. I'm just immortal. I'm not a ghost. I'm not a demon.
I see. Then you must have a name of sorts. Go on.
Alright, so we only got 7 characters. Not to worry, because I know that this name will work out perfectly fine. So the original name they go by is Byleth. Well, I go by Spudliff. Spudliff.
I shall not ever grow accustomed to the sound of human names. You must possess a day of birth as well. Beneath which moon and on what day were you born to this world?
I was born under the Garland moon on the 28th day, June 28th.
Well, wonders never cease. It seems we share our day of birth.
I think that's just like a part of the game. I don't think like I actually have the same date of birth as this character, because characters in this game actually have their own like birthdays and stuff, and it's kind of cool.
I think it may be time for yet another nap. It is almost time to begin.
Yeah, a lot of Fire Emblem stories kind of begin in media res, so things will just happen. So like, there's a few things that I kind of understand about the story so far, and some I don't really. God, this is why I don't like doing things after the fact, because then I have to like play coy and stuff. I don't know how much I should talk about. Let's see, I was dreaming about war. I was dreaming about a young girl. The war's less creepy.
Massive armies clashing on a vast field, right? There hasn't been a battle like that in over 3 centuries. In any case, just put that out of your mind for now. The battlefield is no place for idle thoughts. Risking your life is part of the job.
Also, this guy is Jiraiya from Naruto, and I love that fact. And I don't think he dies, so that's a plus.
Okay, time to get moving. Our next job is in the kingdom. I told you before, it's far from here, so we'll need to leave at dawn.
Of course.
Oh, good grief. Everyone is already waiting for us outside.
Gerald, sir, sorry to barge in, but your presence is needed.
What's happened?
Please forgive our intrusion. We wouldn't bother you with a situation not dire.
What do a bunch of kids like you want at this hour?
We're being pursued by a group of bandits. I can only hope that you will be so kind as to lend your support.
Bandits? Here?
It's true. They attacked us while we were at rest in our camp.
We've been separated from our companions and we're outnumbered. They're after our lives, not to mention our gold.
I'm impressed you're staying so calm considering the situation. Wait, that uniform.
Bandits spotted just outside the village. Damn, there were a lot of them.
I guess they followed you all the way here. We can't abandon this village now. Come on, let's move. Hope you're ready.
So yeah, as you can see, I had a lot of save files. Ha ha ha. There are a lot of save files in this game though, so that's nice. I'm just gonna save over these ones because we're gonna redo everything anyway. So I'm super excited about this game. I'll kind of explain stuff as I go. But like I said, it's sort of like a chess game, but with more pieces and a lot more things going on. It's got this like weird. It's weird.
Let's take care of those thieves before they
But
overrun
like
the village.
there'll be like a bunch of little goofy things in this game that so
That should
far
take the wind
I've
out of
seen,
their sails.
but are just so much fun and it's awesome. So what we're gonna do first is we are going to get a range attack here with Claude. So basically there are different weapons in the game. They have different stats. So like there are axes, swords, spears, bows and arrows and stuff. They have different effects. Like bows and arrows can basically attack from like 2 range, but they can't attack at like
It's because of you guys that I'm not dead right now. Thanks for that. I didn't expect to run into mercenaries like you in some remote village. The gods of fortune
you can like
must be
talk to
smiling on me.
characters and stuff. But basically like because it's like in tiles, like that's why I mentioned like chess. Basically it's like because the characters like will like certain weapons can do like 1-2 range or 2 or even like 2-3, so it's like a lot of interesting stuff like that. So
Thank you. We are in your debt. It wouldn't do for us to fall in a place like this. Please, lend us your strength. Let's work together to drive out these thieves.
right. Yeah, so basically there's player, enemy, and ally phases. The player will control your army, my army, our army, and alright. Can I get nope, okay. Alright, so the player controls their units. And basically tells them where to go, what to do. Then the enemy will get their turn. And in doing so, then there's the green phase, which are ally units, and it kind of goes in that kind of cycle. Lots of fun. So yeah, this is like enemies will go, and like I mentioned earlier, if your unit is knocked out, they die. And so, you know, with that permanent death thing, you gotta like be careful and try to keep folks alive. Alright, so what we'll do is we will plug the gap here.
Yes, good. If we're in the forest, we can sustain their attacks without losing the advantage.
Yeah, it's so hard to explain this, like, even more than like some of the other games I've played in the past. Like this is harder to like commentate because I also have to like think tactically and stuff, and I'm not the most tactical person in the world, so. Alright, here we go. So, like, there's these attacks called, like, combat arts, which are, like, special attacks and stuff. But they, like, deplete your weapons mites, and there's, like, a bunch of little things in this game. Alright. Oh, I miss. Oh, he's in the bushes, okay.
This is a fine opportunity. Use the combat arts I taught you.
So yeah, combat arts are like these special attacks. So I mentioned weapon might earlier. Weapon might is basically how many times you can use your weapons before they break. Once they break, you are still able to like use them to attack and stuff, but the stats that they have are like significantly weakened, which is like a first that was like introduced in this game. So basically, like how it works is that you would get weapons have like attack, hits, and crits. So basically, if your weapons break, your attack decreases, your hit gets lower, and you probably lose all your crits. So, you know, there's a bit of strategy to it. So using those combat arts will deplete your weapon uses by a greater amount. So there's like some basic kind of strategy there, and then there's like more things that the game adds as it goes.
Damn! Why are there mercenaries in the village? Guess we'll have to deal with them too.
Okay. Alright. And Daddy Geralt's on his way.
Attack when an ally is nearby, and the enemy will be intimidated, making them easier to hit.
Oh, I didn't know you could change the camera like that. Oh, I like that, actually. Alright, so how do I want to do this? Alright, I want you to fall back. Basically, I want them to come to me. Alrighty.
I'm gonna kill you where you stand.
Alright, cool. Alright, so. Perfect. Boom. Yeah, so. It helps having played these maps beforehand, just because I kind of have like a little bit of a somewhat knowledge going into it of what I need to do. Okay, so not going to be a one-shot regardless, so might as well. So one thing about combat arts is that normally in an attack you will get counterattacked, but sometimes combat arts will mean that they won't counter. So there we go. Oh, I could die. I just realized that. Oh, this was not a good move by me. Okay. Here. Yeah, that'll help. Come on, little guard. Cool.
One step at a time.
Oh, my buddy's online. And I got an axe. Oh, hey, beating the boss ends the chapter. That's cool. It's funny, you know, I was talking about how, like, I'm doing so much better now, but then it's like, oh, literally was just one bad move away from dying. Which, hey, kind of how that happens. Funny how everything works out.
Honestly, what are you accomplishing with that little stunt? It's like you're trying to get me killed, you fool. Well, it's fine. After all, if you don't know the value of your own life, you're not going to protect it very well, are you? Course not. Well then, I guess it's up to me to guide you from now on, right? You can call me Sothis, but I'm also known as the Beginning. Sothis, yes.
Same
That's
name as
my
the
name,
lady in the
Sothis.
beginning of the game, in the movie,
And
Lady
I'm
Sothis.
also called the Beginning. But who once called me that?
What are you talking about?
I was not able to recall my name
Ain't that
until
convenient.
just now. And just like that, it came to me. How odd. That look upon your face. Did you think me a child? A mere child who forgot her own name? Phooey! That child's just saved your life. And what does that make you?
I am no child. I am less than a child.
Correct. You understand. You threw yourself before an axe to save just one young girl. Yet all is well, as I have stalled the flow of time for now. You would have died had I not intervened.
Thank you. So, not gonna lie, I was a lot more sarcastic the first time playing through, but I don't want to meander about.
Though it is only momentary, time has stopped. However did I manage that?
It's the last Wednesday of the decade, my dudes. What now?
When time begins again, the axe will tear into your flesh, and you will surely meet your end. How rude of you to drag me into this. Now what to do?
Turn back the hands of time.
Of course! I must turn back the hands of time!
You know what this entire character relationship's gonna be? Like the player telling her what to do, and then she's like, "Oh, I'll just do this."
I do believe it can be done. You really are quite troublesome. I cannot wind back time too far, but all is well. You are aware of what's to come, which means you can protect yourself this time. Now go! Yes, you who bears the flames within. Drift through the flow of time to find the answers that you seek.
Hey, over here!
Hey, did you just...
The Knights of Seros are here. We'll cut you down for terrorizing our students. Hey, the thieves are running away. Go after them. The students seem to be unharmed. And who's this?
Why him?
Way to go, Dimitri. You're the MVP. And we're just gonna save over this.
is you? Goodness, it's been ages. Don't you recognize me? It's Alois, your old right-hand man. Well, that's how I always thought of myself anyway. Oh, it must have been 20 years ago that you went missing without a trace. I always knew you were still alive.
You haven't changed a bit, Alois. Just as loud as ever. And drop that captain nonsense. I'm not your captain anymore. These days, I'm just a wandering mercenary. One who has work to do. Goodbye, old friend.
Right. Goodbye, Captain. Wait, that isn't how this ends. I insist that you return to the monastery with me.
Garreg Mach Monastery. I suppose this was inevitable.
And how about you, kid? Are you the captain's child?
He's a stranger to me. That's correct. I'm a bandit. Rawr.
Great sense of humor, this one. Clearly cut from the same cloth as the captain. I'd love for you to see the monastery too. You will join me, won't you?
Sure.
What's troubling you, Captain? You aren't about to run off again, are you?
Even I wouldn't dare run from the Knights of Saros.
The Knights of Saros. They do seem rather skilled. Ah, it seems your presence is required. Get going.
Yay, we get a Navi. You know, like a little, hey, listen.
I appreciate your help back there. Your skill is beyond question. You're clearly an experienced mercenary. And your father, that would be Geralt, the Bladebreaker? Former captain of the Knights of Saros, oft praised as the strongest knight to ever live. Have I missed anything?
I don't know. The Knights of Saros? I'm a dummy.
You haven't heard of the Knights of Saros? The most famous order of knights in all of Fodlan.
Hey, you are coming with us to the monastery, right? Of course you are. I'd love to bend your ear as we travel. Oh, I should mention that the three of us are students of the Officers' Academy at Garreg Mach Monastery. We were doing some training exercises when those bandits attacked. I definitely got the worst of it.
That would be because you ran off.
Too true. I was the first to make a strategic retreat. Everything would have worked out if these two hadn't followed me and ruined everything. Because of them, every single one of those bandits chased after us. Utterly ridiculous.
Ah, so that's what you were thinking, Claude. And here I thought you were acting as a decoy for the sake of us all.
His intentions were as clear as day. You will prove a lacking ruler if you cannot see the truth behind a person's words.
You will prove a lacking ruler yourself if you look for deceit behind every word and fail to trust those whom you rely on.
Oh, joy. A royal debate between their highnesses. I wonder how being completely predictable affects one's ability to wield power. Personally, as the embodiment of distrust, I'd say your little exchange smacks of naivete.
Me, naive. Tell me, are you actually incapable of keeping quiet, or is your lack of self-awareness a condition of some sort?
In any case, forgive our digression. I must speak with you if you can spare a moment. The way you held your ground against the bandits' leader was captivating. You never lost control of the situation. It showed me I still have much to learn.
Your skill is precisely why I must ask you to consider lending your services to the Empire. I might as well tell you now, I am no mere student. I am also the Adrestian Empire's...
Halt, Edelgard. Please allow me to finish my own proposition. The Holy Kingdom of Fargus is in dire need of exceptional individuals like yourself. Please, do consider returning to the kingdom with me.
Whoa there, you two sure are hasty. Trying to recruit someone you just met. Tactless, really. I was personally planning to develop a deep and lasting friendship on our journey back to the monastery before begging for favors. But it seems there's no time for niceties in this world. So, capable stranger, let's get right to it. Where does your allegiance lie?
It seems one's place of birth is quite significant to them. Yet they are so impressed by you that you may take your pick. Well,
Alright, so in this game there are 3 factions. 3 houses, 3 factions. Basically, at one point you will be forced to make a choice of what faction you want to support. You don't need to make that choice right now, but just doing so will boost your support with said character. Support will kind of boost your stats when those units are fighting together and stuff. It's a bunch of like
Alright, that's enough with the small talk. It's time to head
mind
back to the
gamey
monastery.
strategy stuff.
Looks like we'll have to pick this up another time.
My, they are in such a hurry. You know, each of the 3 is most unique.
Yep, so there's Edelgard. She's a refined young woman, but I feel as though she is always evaluating me. Dimitri. He seems quite sincere, but I sense darkness lurking beneath. Claude. His easy smile is striking, but that smile doesn't reach his eyes. Yeah, something that I really like, and a blessing in disguise of having to replay this part, is that there is no right path in this game. There is no right choice when it comes to choosing your house. And all 3 characters, they're likable enough, and like, I was like debating for a minute of changing what house I wanted to go up with first. It's really interesting because they all are very clearly flawed and kind of like a young person in a position of leadership kind of way. And it's interesting to see them, like, they seem very well rounded and well written from what I see. Like, you can see like there is like this like underlying darkness for all the characters, not just Dimitri, and it's really cool to see that. Like, it's present that, like, you know, you maybe might not want to pick a side, but at the same time, like, they aren't bad people, but you can see like where these flaws are coming from.
Yes, I thought the same. I am so sleepy once again. I may be sleeping